And then it just hit me like, bro, you gotta tattoo your whole neck. Like this little trying to appease your mom stuff you got going on by like not getting too many tattoos, like you're actually fucking up your vision. And I feel like just as a human, I feel like you gotta live from your purest vision, no matter who's telling you what. I know I love my mom, right? But I can't love someone completely if I can't be completely myself. So if you can't be 100% of yourself, you can never give somebody else 100%. So it just hit me like, I'd rather you be mad at me for this, but me be able to be 100% of myself so I could share that love with you, because if not, I'm gonna have this grudge, this chip on my shoulder that taints, our relationship. My name is Millyz. I'm an artist from Massachusetts, Cambridge, Massachusetts specifically. Super unique and diverse. The most languages spoken in any public school in America. I got to mix with like every race and every ethnicity and anyone you could think of by the age of, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I think my worldviews were like always different than somebody maybe who didn't come from that type of environment. I lived with my mother and my father until about 6 years old, 7 years old, and then they split up and I ended up living with my mother, and I would see my father on the weekends. There weren't a lot of rules at my father's house. His house was like an artistic hub, but it was just a cool artistic environment. That's where I really kind of started to harness my craft too as a youngin', because I could listen to any type of music, loud. It was just a lot of artists around me, young. And then my mother's neighborhood was more like the streets. And then I go back to my mother's and it'd be a little stricter environment, but the neighborhood had more to offer, as far as extracurricular activities and stuff like that. I loved my mother's neighborhood, like where we were at, like that's where the cool kids were at, that's where it was going down at.
Do you remember the first time you saw a tattoo?
Yeah, on my brother. I forget if it was the first one I saw, but definitely the first one that stuck in my mind. He had the Silver Surfer tattooed on him, like going across his body, super crazy. And I'm like 5 looking at him like, oh my God. I thought it was the coolest shit ever. That was my role model. It's actually the brother that looks the most like me too. So, I definitely was inspired very young. And I always thought tattoos were the right thing to do. Like I don't know if other people have different thoughts about them or like if they're on the fence, but I always was like, oh, that's the right thing to do, of course. I got my first tattoo at 12 or 13, but it was like an Indian ink tattoo. I got it in the park. This girl, Marilyn, gave it to me. She was just she put the ink in the thing with the pin, whatever it was, and just poked my hand hard as shit. And I walked around the corner. I was trying to go back to my mom's house. I threw up in the bushes. I was like super faint off it. I don't know, it hit like a nerve or something. Once the pain wore off, like once that feeling of throwing up in the bushes and being nauseous and everything, once that wore off, I was fine, and I loved it, and I felt super tattooed, even though it was just this. But then my second real tattoo, my friend died when he was 16. He was probably 15. And then I ended up getting a rest in peace tattoo for him like later on when I turned 15, because I was a couple years younger than him. And then it just progressed from there. My mother doesn't like tattoos to this day. She stood on her square and never budged, no matter what. Every time I got a new tattoo, it was like, oh my God, it was up until the age when I started just really making it in music and showing like, look, the more tattoos I'm getting, the more money I'm getting, all of that, like it's a correlation here. And she realized I told her I'm grown now, I'm never gonna work a regular job, like ever. So yeah, she really was holding on, man. I got my neck. I remember I got the cross on my neck. I didn't really like it at first because I was surprised. I was like, what the fuck did I do to myself? And I kind of shared those sentiments with her. And her first reaction, she got on Google and was like, well, you could get a laser removed. I'll set it up for you, all of that. She was on it. The first day I got it, I ended up loving it once I I filled the rest of my neck out. But yeah, it was always like a traumatic experience having to tell my mom I got a new tattoo. She slowed my process up for sure, which I'm glad, because like I might have got like, terrible tattoos when I was younger, because it took me a while. I never wanted to get my neck done because I'm like, damn, like my mother's gonna kill me. So I paced it. But if I didn't, like if she just gave me free range to go get tattoos, I would have probably got a bunch of bad tattoos, you know what I mean? So luckily I got to grow a little bit, and then I went and got fully blasted. I started with my arms, a little on my chest, like where you can't see, you know what I mean? And then and then I went tattoo by tattoo by tattoo. And then it got to the point where I stopped calling her after I get tattoos. It's like, all right, I'm blasted. She doesn't care now. Like I could get a tattoo anywhere as long as it's not the face. If I go to the face again, she'll get mad. There's certain tattoos that I got where I'm like, I can't believe I lived my life without this tattoo. It's incredible to me that I lived my life without this tattoo. And then I kept going, and then I went like a little overboard, I feel like, and now I chill. Like the way that I've gotten tattoos correlates with my life, as far as like I never like skip steps, people just go and get this shit at once. I'm always the person who I gotta take each stair. I didn't even skip stairs, you know what I mean? The elevator, I went stair, 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 stair. And that's kind of how I did with my head tattoo. Like I started with like a rose behind here, then I did it for symmetry. I'm also like OCD, so I need things in symmetry. So I got another rose here, and then I forget what I did next, but it went piece by piece by piece. And then I put the gold leaves, I put the Olympic crown on myself, and then there was just like this piece, and then I blasted that, and then I still blasted something in the front. So I went piece, 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 piece until it, became something. But that symbolizes, like my life's progression too. That's how my life moves, man. Piece by piece by piece by piece until it's whole.
It's kind of crazy because it looks cohesive.
It does. Yeah, but that's like, it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. That's like, it always looks like it's cohesive, like it was all done at once, People would say, oh, you super inked, but I'd be like, no, I'm not even blasted. Like it's a level, there's like a level to blasted. When someone's blasted, I wanted to reach blasted level. Now I feel like I'm blasted. But there's also tattoo people out there that probably be like, you're not really blasted. So for a while, I could still, let's say I put on gloves and a shirt, I could still like look straight and someone couldn't technically tell if I have tattoos. Now, no matter like what angle you look at me from, you could tell I got some tattoos, and I feel like that's when you're blasted for real.
Would you change anything about the journey you've had?
No. I would say I would have found numbing cream sooner, because I only found it like really recently. Even when I tried before, like I said, I don't want to down no products, but I had something that only worked for like 20 minutes. But so I went through all the pain. I had to go through all the pain. My head tattoos, all of that, like, but yeah, a few of them, God, like this on the back of my neck, oh my God, I almost fell out. That's why I tell people like, yo, you gotta earn the right to get up to some numbing cream. You know what I mean? You gotta earn that. Like people who go into that, you shouldn't even get tattooed, because you gotta go through that to, one of the best feelings about getting tattooed is walking out after it's over, like, oh, I did that. But nah, I wouldn't change nothing on the journey.